My book is out now. It's called What This Comedian Said Will Shock You, and it's available now anywhere you get your books.
The one thing I miss is going up in a room full of strangers and winning that audience over.
That's the thing I hated the most.
I would get a student loan, I would register, and my parents thought I was going to college, and I would leave the house and never go. Is this a gift already? No.
Well, you know, it's like when the husband gives a wife lingerie. Who's the gift really for?
Yeah, exactly.
It's my book.
Yes,
So
I know the book.
I want to show you what I wrote to you because I feel like it's so apropos for...
Oh, it is a gift. Oh, I thought you were using it to plug.
To Ray, the lifelong friend I'm just getting to know. I feel like that's where we are, right?
Appreciate it, yeah.
In another alternative universe, we've actually spent thousands of hours together, and we enjoyed every minute of it, but there just wasn't time on this earth.
But how did we just missed each other coming up, I guess, because you were at the Improv, right?
We were like Captain Tuttle on MASH. Do you remember that episode where the captain, he just left. They were never really...
Oh, they never, yeah.
They made Frank Burns go mad thinking he constantly just missed him.
But was your first place the Improv?
Improv LA.
I
did work the Improv in New York.
Oh, so you didn't start, you started out here?
No.
You know? What?
New York.
So the Improv was your home club? Was your place where you...
Really was Catch a Rising Star.
Oh, okay.
Improv, yeah. But you know, when you got...
What years?
Once you got to be a big act,
yeah,
you got to work all three clubs, the comic strip, the Improv, you know.
Yeah, and then the Cellar too, right?
And then the Cellar.
Yeah. But what years?
Cellar.
What years were
1979 to 1982.
That's exactly, and I started in 83, like 80.
See,
80.
Captain Tuttle.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I started in 83, and then I quit for a while, and then started again, yeah.
You quit?
I had two tries at it. You know, I started once, the first time ever on stage was the Improv, ever, and I did well. Did you do well the first time? That kind of tends to be the...
Of course not. How could you do well the first time?
Because it's audition night, and the crowd is very generous, and I don't know. That seemed to be the way it went.
That's not my memory. My memory it was terrible. I was, you know, gasping for the oxygen of laughter, rudely awakened to the fact that making my friends laugh was a whole different animal than making a room full of strangers laugh. I did obviously get enough laughs to get asked back.
But I had the horrible experience the second time I went on stage. So I had the false hope that, oh, this is easy. And then I was rudely awakened.
Right. Well, you must have been if you actually quit. I mean, when you quit.
Yeah, I quit. It scared me so much. And then I tried again. And I quit again. And then the third time is when I said, I got to give it a shot.
So you quit and did what?
I was, I did a lot of everything, but at the time that I started working as a stand-up, I was delivering futons in New York for my friend.
And you went back to that?
I don't even think I was doing it then. When I was 23, I wasn't doing anything. I was going to college, dropping out of college.
That's how painful stand-up can be when you're not good at it. It can make you go back to delivering futons, right?
It can make you quit, yeah. As exhilarating as the first night was, that's how equally horrible the second night was.
Right.
And yeah, it scared me into...
No, it's an amazing phenomenon that people... Well, first of all, just that a human being would want to like take the mood of a whole room of people or 1,000 people or sometimes 25,000 people and music 50,000 people and put that on your one back. That alone is a little weird to want to do. And then to like endure that kind of apprenticeship. I mean, every industry has a type of apprenticeship. If you're a computer programmer, you're working, you're learning the computer. It's not humiliating learning the computer.
Right.
It can be frustrating, or
Yeah.
you wish you were going faster or slower or something. But it's not. But we had like rank humiliation. I mean, real
Yeah, that's the
like
hardest part.
ego crushing.
That's what I tell, like, there's always young guys who kind of ask me about what's the best path or whatever.
Sure, Ray, you're a big
Yeah,
star.
yeah.
You're worth hundreds of millions,
Yeah.
and you have big shows and movies and acting career and
But
television
for stand up, they
royalty.
tell 'em.
What? Give us your advice, Ray. Or can I call you Ray, or should I, Mr. Romano? Hold forth.
Who are you? Are you mocking me or them?
I'm mocking that whole syndrome that we've all lived through a
Yeah,
billion
yeah, yeah.
times, where there was, I remember, not to blame him for it, he was good at it, but Lena, when we started, he was a little older than us comics who had started and was doing better. And he had smoked a pipe back then, and he would occasionally hold forth. But I've seen Rodney do it, and, it's
Do
not,
what, like hold court?
well, yes, the young comics gather around and they want
Yeah.
wisdom from the elders.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm
by
sure
the way,
I've,
I'm not saying I ever offered it. I'm talking about when guys ask me. I don't say. I don't say.
No, I know.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
ask me too. I'm just saying it's how you handle it. It's
Well, you
just
know what?
something about the whole syndrome just creeps me out.
I heard Seinfeld give one of the best pieces of advice to, I don't know what it was, but he said someone was asking him, how do you make money in comedy, in stand-up? And he said, the way to make money in stand-up is to not care about making money.
Yeah, but it's like Elaine May's famous dictum: the only safe thing is to take chances.
Right.
That's show business.
Yeah, but I
Feel
think
like
also what he was saying was, just do it. You got to do it and get better at it.
I feel like you lived up to that. The only safe thing is to take chances.
In some things. In other things, I'm the.
But like you could have
Yeah.
done a reboot of Raymond for $12 trillion or something, I'm sure. And you didn't
No.
you didn't bite at that fat piece of bait.
No, because I
Right?
knew it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be.
Okay, but
Yeah.
that's taking chances instead of just
Yeah.
playing it safe. And
Playing it safe would be doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But but to be fair, the money wasn't going to entice me anyway. I mean, yes, the money's good, but I'm
Well off.
I don't make choices right now for financial reasons.
Because it all came out in the wash for us, didn't it? We're like so lucky, because when you think about the old days and how many people you started with, I always compare it to the army. Like, a lot of guys got shot.
I know.
And a few guys.
And guys, you thought there's so many guys I thought,
right.
This guy's going to be a star,
And did better than me. Certainly, I can't speak for you, but in the clubs,
yeah, the guys I didn't want to follow.
Right. Yes. But see, that's the thing. TV is a cool medium. This was the advice I learned almost as a child, not as a child, but certainly as a teenager when I was thinking about going into comedy. I was very attuned to this shit. And I remember knowing that message. It was Marshall McLuhan, who I guess my mother was interested in. I think he was also on TV. He's famously in Annie Hall when Woody Allen is online for a movie. Remember? And he's with the girl, and he wishes that somebody could come along and straighten out whoever he's arguing with. And Marshall McLuhan, who was because he was thought of as like a very smart guy at the time. And that was his big message, cool medium. And TV is a cool medium. Your people are watching you in a different setting than they are in a nightclub. That energy that blows people away in a small room does not permeate the screen. So people like us, dull, plodding, we do much better. No, but we're not like, and that's
no, you're right, because there are character stand-up acts that would tear the house down.
Oh.
I mean, and to try to find them a sitcom or whatever, they never panned out.
I probably have told this, but there was a guy, it's not that I won't say his name, I just can't remember at the moment. he did this thing with puppets. But I mean, he would, yes, no one could follow him. I certainly couldn't. He did close the shows.
All
I
right.
remember certain clubs were opening, and he was getting like the toppest dollar that they were paying, $2,000 a week, you know.
Yeah.
And the closing was he would put hand puppets, and then they would pipe in the Rolling Stones "Start Me Up," and the puppet would, I guess it was a
Yeah.
Mick Jagger puppet. And I was in the back of the room thinking, man, I got to get glasses. There's something in this I must be missing. The people are going fucking apeshit for this. And then, you know, no, it wasn't the glasses. I didn't understand.
Do you think that act would work now? Like I look at the guys who were character stand-ups, and I wonder if they would go over it in today's audience.
Well, Mick Jagger's 80 now, so
Well,
I don't know what's the best premise to like energize the crowd with. Although I've heard from a number of people, the Rolling Stones, he is 80, and they say the show is fantastic.
Yeah.
And he, especially, is just like as he ever was. It's
I have to go.
amazing.
I've never seen him live.
No?
And my wife wants to go too. Yeah.
You should definitely go. I've seen them like 4 or 5 times.
I'm not a concert-going guy. The first concert I went to, I'll tell you, it was John Denver, and opening for him was the Starland Vocal Band. Do you remember them?
I certainly know that.
Afternoon Delight.
Yes, from Anchorman.
Yes.
The one they sing in Anchorman.
Yeah.
Afternoon Delight.
Find my baby. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But then I saw Chicago once. Chicago was like my favorite band growing up.
What a band. They're still one of my favorite bands.
Right, but you know, they changed from the 70s, and in the 80s and 90s, they got more softer and pop, you know?
Yeah, yes, that's true. That's true.
But they had, you know, I don't know how much you know about them. Terry Kath, their lead guitarist, who Hendrix said was better than him.
Wow.
And he tragically accidentally shot himself when he was like 29 maybe. Oh, he was unbelievable. You should watch. There's a YouTube video, 25 or 624, of them live in the 70s.
Boy,
that's unbelievable.
That sure doesn't make me smile.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
And the Beatles, we have that in common.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Chicago, like, man, you're right. When they were a rock band with a horn section.
Yes.
And as a kid, well, 13 or whatever I was, horns were sort of like something from my father's era more. So it had to be really hot for me to like it.
Right.
And they hit it.
Yeah.
There was another band, Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears, yeah.
That also had a horn section.
Yeah.
They certainly didn't go to Chicago.
They're still playing kind of Chicago. I mean, some of their guys are still there.
I remember when they were inaugurated into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and my friend Rob Thomas did it.
Yeah.
From Matchbox 20 and his great solo stuff.
Yeah.
And he kind of acknowledged that he said something about like, they're your mom's band, and he was just like, hey, if that's your mom's band, I want to hang out with your mom.
He wasn't saying it. He was
when he inducted them. He was putting down people who said that they were, soft or.
Well, because they don't remember. They don't know their early stuff where it was so soulful.
That's their most famous stuff. I mean, Saturday in the Park.
Saturday in the Park. It's in my movie. I put it in my movie.
Feeling Stronger Every Day was the song that got me through my high school breakup. Really, I'm not kidding.
You only had one high school breakup?
I only had one girl. It was amazing. I got one, and then she broke my heart in a million pieces, which was deserved. I'm not going to say it wasn't, but being young is so much harder than being old.
Yeah.
If you have your health. If not, then it sucks even more being old. But you put yourself in such pain with your stupidity.
Yeah.
And you're just, if I only knew then what I know now, you could spare yourself. But I went through that. That was at least a year where every day was a knot in my stomach from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep.
Because of the girl.
Yeah, because it was just like, how do I get her back? And I can't, because once you turn off the pilot light, I always say, It cannot be reignited in a woman.
Yeah.
You can make it go low, but if you turn the pilot light off, it will never go back on
Yeah.
again. And then you are less attractive as a beggar, which is what you become, a supplicant.
Yeah.
You're like Oliver Twist. A little more, please.
How long did you date her for?
Like a year and a half.
Yeah, it was
like
2
from
years.
Sophomore. Was she I was a junior, she was a sophomore. It was my first date, taking a bus to the mall in January in freezing cold weather to see a movie.
Yeah.
And like being 17, like we all like get a little complacent, but as we mature, we, become self-aware of it and fight like letting on that we're maybe not as thrilled as we used to be.
You were complacent with what?
It's a relationship.
Oh.
After it was gone on for a year and a half or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I just was kind of, I don't know. I think I was dickish about something. I remember.
But you still were into her, big. Yeah.
I guess the interest was waning, but once she dumped me, it was just about my ego. And, then it's just, you realize that it's not really about the person so much. When you really go through that kind of hard, it's a lot about your ego, like, or your sense of survival, like, oh,
yeah,
it's a blow. It's just a blow to a emotional part of you.
Yeah.
So then I was just beside myself, and that song, "Feeling Stronger Every Day," when that came on, it was the summer, I guess, of '74, and it had been a year or so, and it really helped me.
That was kind of the beginning of their more poppy kind of period.
But it still had that great horn.
Yeah,
No, that's a good rock song.
Yeah.
Please don't ever say anything bad about "Feeling
No, it's a good
Stronger
song.
Every
It's a good
Day."
song. They had great songs in that.
Yeah.
Just You and Me,
that
Color My World was
Color
that
My
was
World
earlier.
was my prom song, which I didn't go to, but that was the song they played at the prom.
That was earlier.
Those songs
That was earlier. That was on the early albums.
What's important is that I was feeling stronger every day, Ray.
Who is that? So who is your number one group? The Beatles? I remember.
Yes, I feel like they're always the primus inter pares on the Mount Olympus of musicians and rock and roll. And I mean, everything they did first. Everything. Music videos, like things you don't even think of.
Yeah.
Certain instruments, sound, whatever, stadiums.
Did you, because you played the Mirage too when I was playing it, did you go to Love?
Absolutely.
I would go, I've been there like 12 times.
12 times?
Well, because I played the Mirage for over maybe 20 years.
But
so every once, they change it up. So if I was.
But aren't you performing when that show?
No, my show was at 10. Wasn't your show at 10?
Mine now at the MGM Grand, it's at
I know that.
9.
But at the Mirage, when it was you were at the Mirage, right?
It was late, yes.
Yeah, it was at 10.
So you could go see the other show.
We would walk in the back and say, let's see.
Right, same building.
Yeah, it's in the Mirage, yeah.
Oh, I should have done that. But I did see it.
Oh, yeah, I would tear up sometimes just sitting there. I used to sitting there and I used to like looking at the people. And just seeing like when a song would come on, they just had to get into it and move, how it would affect them.
Oh,
and it was just nostalgic.
Well, the sound system is amazing. And then you have like midgets on tricycles and stuff. What? Is that my recollection?
That's for Strawberry Fields or Lucy in the Sky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember.
It was.
I love Cirque du Soleil.
It was Cirque du Soleil, yeah.
You know what the best one was? Oh.
I didn't see it, no, I never saw it.
That's the one that it's on water.
Yeah.
And there's little people flying all around there. They're over your head. They're just, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And they do amazing stunts, but the water and those shows. Vegas, I was just in Atlantic City. I'm sure you play Atlantic City and you're a big star.
I did play, but I haven't played there in a long time.
Really? Why?
Where do you play? I don't.
It was at the Borgata.
Well, I mean, I live here now, so I mean.
Yeah, it's called a road gig.
Yeah, but a road gig for me is Vegas. I don't do.
Oh, look at you.
Well, I don't.
Let them come to see you, right? Let them come to you.
I just did my first corporate gig in like 15 years.
Oh, I can't do corporate.
Yeah.
I
know.
Learned.
But it was in Vegas. That's why I did it. It was in
They all think I get offered crazy money.
Yeah, I know.
And it's not worth it because see, they think, oh, we're hip. we're going to love him. Because the person in charge of the entertainment committee is a big fan.
Yeah,
but it's 2,000 lawyers or some shit. You know, very often they're not that.
And it's also a crapshoot to set up. What's it look like? How big is it?
But I mean, I feel like you could do this easily. You cannot offend a corporation.
Right.
I cannot.
Yeah.
I'm an atheist and all this stuff.
Yeah, but you do
what?
You do Mr. Salty. You do
Mr. Salty. That's from like, oh my God.
You do fuck you, Mr. Salty.
I hadn't thought of that.
I remember that. Yeah.
You're right. That was one of my big jokes. I can't remember.
That's timely. That's still timely today. In this age of low sodium, you got to give them credit. They're like,
there's a few years of my life where that was very important to me. That Mr. Salty joke was one of my biggest jokes, and now I can't even remember what the joke was.
It was. You got to give. I roughly remember it. You got to give Mr. Salty, the people of Mr. Salty, credit, because in this age of health and low sodium, they're like, "Fuck you, Mr. Salty."
That is funny.
They're not changing the name. It's kind of like Seinfeld's. You got to give the Chinese credit. They're sticking with the chopsticks.
That's always
yeah.
classic. Club Random is brought to you by the audio marketing gurus at Radioactive Media. Summer is almost here, a time when some businesses accept slowing down. When working from home means I'm going to the beach. Not your business. This summer, explore a new marketing angle by utilizing the power of audio by partnering with shows like mine. Lure new customers nationally by using the marketing power of podcasts, terrestrial, satellite, and streaming radio. Radioactive Media has been partnering with Club Random since the beginning, so like me, you can cast that net wider to attract new and more qualified customers. Radioactive believes so much in the power of audio marketing, they put their money where their mouths are by using it themselves, right here, right now. Radioactive Media has an exclusive deal to promote your product or service on Club Random with me and save up to 50% right now to lock in your first campaign this year. To find out all the details, go to radioactivemedia.com or text the word RANDOM to 511-511. Discover how audio marketing can surpass your current strategies and go to radioactivemedia.com or text RANDOM to 511-511. Text RANDOM to 511-511 today to save up to 50%. Terms, conditions, message, and data rates may apply. Well, I should have remembered, I don't know, someone slipped something into my clove cigarette before I came on here.
Yeah,
So I forgot to plug my book, What This Comedian Said Will Shock You. It went to #1 last week. We're hoping the returns come in today for week 2. But it is perfect for Father's Day. So I thought a dad like you would be perfect to sell it to.
If my kids are watching.
Right. If your kids are watching.
Yeah.
That's right. Buy this book for Ray Romano. He's your dad. He deserves it. They'll love it.
I just got to find a way to get my kids to watch you. No, they do.
They don't have to.
They're fans.
All right.
All right. Appreciate it. I'm taking it.
Men's clothing is today's topic. Guys, let's do better. Our closets are due for a radical reinvention, and Roan stepped up to the challenge. Roan's commuter collection is the most comfortable, breathable products for every occasion. These are the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, polos, and blazers. Roan's signature 4-way stretch fabric is breathable, flexible, and works everywhere from your commute, on your way to work, to the bar after the golf that you lied to your wife about not playing that day. Roan's commuter collection is 100% machine washable. Sorry, expensive dry cleaners, you're out. The commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to roan.com/random and use promo code RANDOM to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to find your corner office comfort.
I did a corporate gig at the Bellagio just a month ago, yeah.
You did?
Yeah. First time in 20 years, man.
And? I bet it was
I
great.
got out alive, they...
Alive? Come on.
No, but the conditions can be crazy. They can be, are they eating now? Are they this? Is it in a convention center? That's
true. I mean, those kind of crowds can be rough. I mean, I was at a charity event about 10 years ago, and the Eagles, um, out of the goodness of their heart, it's a charity event.
Right.
We're playing it, and they go on stage, and they had just put out an album. It's an awesome album. It was their album. They hadn't put out one in 28 years, and I think this is like I guess this is like 2008, maybe 7. So they opened with a new song from the album. So new. They didn't open with Hotel California.
Yeah.
And the crowd it was just like it was a garage
They
band.
got restless.
Just restless, just completely ignoring it and talking. And Henley was pissed. You could tell after. And I don't blame him. I very nearly stood up and just shouted, "Fucking shut up, it's the Eagles."
Yeah, really. Well, who were they? Who were the people? Lawyers?
No, it was a charity for...
Oh, it was a charity.
It was a charity for, that's why they were there. It was, that's the thanks you get.
One of the worst gigs I ever had, and I don't want to trash the gig because it wasn't. It was the gator growl. You ever do the floor? No?
The gator growl. Is this? I think I know what you're talking
Florida,
about. I heard about this gig. Yes,
it's in the stadium.
Where Jacksonville? No.
Yeah, I think so.
What? It's the Gators. It's I don't know college football.
Yeah, I don't know it that well.
It's very big. It's very big, and in Florida, it must be like. I have heard of this gig. I avoided it like the plague.
Yeah, well, it was the second year of Everybody Loves Raymond. And so I was and Chappelle was on it, Larry the Cable Guy was on it, a couple of, and when I went up, there's I guess 20 or 30,000 people. It's homecoming, so there's some parents, but mostly students. And my stuff, I didn't do the college circuit a lot.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
And now it's unthinkable.
Oh yeah.
Now it's just. I mean, you would be, even you.
Well, you would have half this way and half this way, maybe.
I would be, first of all, they would protest before even got on the campus.
Half of them would. Some of them.
I was uninvited when I was invited to be the keynote speaker at the Berkeley graduation, and then re-invited. But today, are you kidding?
Yeah.
These kids, that would be the first thing they would do, is try to get me thrown off. They don't want to hear anything they don't already agree with. They don't want their minds pried open. And you know what? Let somebody else do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll do it from my perch here in LA. I'll be a little white tower about this one.
No, I could see where because you do speak about them a lot on your show, which is,
I mean, I don't do it because I have anything against people in their 20s. I probably spend more time with people in their 20s than most people my age do.
Yeah.
But but I love kids. I mean, there's a exuberance that you cannot quench.
Yeah.
There's a love of life and of possibility, and it's all the things we know about youth. But I'm not going to hold my tongue when they embrace stupid ideas. And of course, then they'll just say, the tritest, easiest, most erroneous thing lobbed at people like us is, "You're old. Now it's about just get off my lawn." It's like, okay, so you put zero amount of thinking into the actual point I'm making. You didn't engage with the actual idea. If you did that, I would respect you. But when it's just like, "You're old, get off my lawn," oh, wow, you learned a cliche about age, and you noticed I'm a lot older than you. But what about the idea? Am I right? Should we bring communism back? Because I think it's a bad idea. Maybe because I remember what happened the first time, and you don't care to learn. But somehow I'm the asshole?
Yeah, I don't have that issue when I do my stand-up. But do you ever?
Why? What do you mean? Because
I don't
kids
talk about the things that you talk about. Yeah.
No, but your stuff, obviously, look, your stuff is universal.
Would I still don't think I'd go over with a college crowd. I don't think. That's why I didn't go over at the Gator Growl. I don't think.
Oh, so you didn't?
No. I'll never. This was 30 years ago, and I remember 30,000 people. And I remember after about 3 or 4 minutes hearing a girl from about 10,000 people over, and I heard her voice go, "You better start being funny."
Oh.
Yeah. And
that kind of shit.
It was rough.
That's rough. And that's not early in your career. That's after you're a big success.
Well, I wasn't. It was the second year of the TV show, or the
to
third.
most people, having your own show is a big success.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the cultural landmark it became, but it was a success.
Yeah.
You know, it was like when I was on Politically Incorrect.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a giant, you know, but it was, you know, that's a success for when we started. That's our goal.
Yeah, well, that's why they had me there. Yeah, but whatever. I remember we were supposed to spend the night there, and I told my manager was there, and I said, let's just go to the airport. And the airport was like 40 minutes away, so it must have been somewhere.
But do you have...
And I said, let's just go. Let's just get out of here.
I
didn't even want to sleep in the town. I wanted to get... we slept at the airport.
I once did horribly on a gig I was not ready to do yet in 1980 in Cleveland, in a restaurant. Did terribly, like almost to the point of, you know, asked to leave. Almost asked to leave level bad, you know?
Like in the middle of your...
It did not work. It was a tough room, and I was a real rookie, and it just... And then the next day, wouldn't you know, I get snowed in, and I'm at the airport for 12 hours, watching them, like, plow the runway, just wanting to get this city off me, get home. Not that it's the city's fault, but just I wanted to get Cleveland off me, get home and take a shower, and I have to live with it for 12 hours.
Did you ever do cruise ships?
Oh, no. There's... I paid my dues. I can prove it, but that is I've had beer cans thrown at me opening for rock stars, but I will not do a cruise.
Yes. Well, then, because then you're with the audience for the next 5 days. And I only did it twice. And the first time went okay. Second time, they said, we're going to have late night comedy. And me and the other comedian were like, we did a regular show, and then they said, now it's late night comedy the next night. And it was still us. It was still us. And so,
right.
Of course, it didn't go well. And I remember walking, in a cruise ship. I was walking to my room, and I'm, this way, and I hear the people, a couple, well, where do they get these guys from? And they turn the corner, and as I'm walking towards them, it's not wide enough to just walk by. We have to shimmy this way, like our faces, and I have to. And he just insulted me, and I got to like.
Was he aware that it was?
Oh, yeah. It was me. Yeah. It was only two comics on there.
Wow. No, that...
And then you're living on the boat with them for the next couple of days.
It's kind of like you do a show at a club or somewhere, and, you're just... The club is with you for the next 2 days. Yeah. That's how ridiculous it is.
Yeah. But
so do you, like when you're at the buffet, you would see people, and... Did anybody like come up to you at the buffet?
No, I don't think.
And hey, you were good last night. Or like,
I think anyone. I probably stayed in the room and laid low for a while.
People think they're doing you a big favor when they say, "I laughed." I'm sort of like, "Fuck you," So did lots of people.
What's funny is you think you're immune to that now at this point in your career.
No.
And basically, well, you kind of. For the most part, you are, because they're coming to see you now.
Yes, but people can still damn with faint praise.
Yes.
And we work so hard at what we do. Stand-up especially, I've talked about with Jerry, why I might stop doing it, at least for a while.
I saw that.
Just like it's playing the cello. You have to practice 2 hours every day.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is with the cello, and it's that kind of thing, and I love that, and I have loved it. I will miss it if I don't do it, but you got to be on it, or doesn't matter who to do a show, to do a 1 hour show. Yes, you can't just pop up to do it. The more popular you are, and the more the audience loves you, and yes, when you've been around as long as us, the people who come to see you really do love you. You just don't want to disappoint.
No.
You just want to give them what they want you to give them and give them the best version of it.
But you know what? The thing that I miss, because I still like to, when I go to New York, I go to the Cellar. Any night I can go, I go.
Really? You
I
still
do.
play the old clubs?
There's just the Cellar. I do the Cellar.
But still, that's amazing.
I live 11, I have an apartment, 11 minutes, I can walk there. And I still get charged up, yeah. And nobody knows you're there. And I do 20 minutes. You do 20, but
When you go with the yellow legal pad and just
No,
because you have because they're new stuff.
I do I try a couple new things, but otherwise.
Oh, you just do your regular act?
Well, if I'm doing 20 minutes, yes, I will have a piece of paper with thoughts and ideas.
I hope so.
Try this, try this, try this, try this.
Yeah,
But I don't have 20 minutes of it.
All right, but
I don't have 20
these people are getting you for a bargain basement price. The least you could do is try out new material on them.
But they don't, but some of them don't, most of them don't know the stuff, even the older stuff, not old, but,
No,
whatever.
but I'm just saying.
I don't do anything I did on the one special I did a couple years ago. I retired that material.
That audience is there for you to use. That's a showcase club. That's different than a real club or a real theater. They're only paying what, $5 to get in?
Well, it's a little more than that. But yeah.
Well, it was when I was there.
Well, did you do the Cellar?
Yes, I was talking to, I think it was Sandra Bernhardt, who was recently here, and I mentioned the funny night where I was so bad that when I left, the MC, Bill Grunfest, said, bad man went away.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah, that wasn't Sandra, because I listened to her yesterday.
Okay. But
it might have been Seinfeld. Yeah.
That's
that's good.
Again, another.
Yeah. Oh, so you didn't go there, frequent it a lot?
I did. There was a time when I remember, because you were a big act, which is my third year in comedy. Okay, you can work all the clubs, and then you do, because you're greedy. First of all, you want the stage time, but you also want the money, which was just basically like glorified cab fare. We're talking about $15, $20. But if you worked on the weekends where there was an early show and a late show, if you worked all the clubs, that would be 6 sets. I did that frequently.
Me too.
And of course, the sets were fine. It was like you were getting into cabs and
I drove from Queens, and I would pop here.
To all the different clubs?
Yeah,
and where would you park?
If I had to park by a hydrant, I'd park and run in.
Right.
Well,
see, that's better than what I did, because you were always sweating getting to the next set, because you booked 3 sets in a 2-hour time span.
Yes, and you just made it. And my record was 7. I did 7.
I remember running often from the cab to the stage.
Yeah.
Like you come into the club, and they're like, they're waiting for you, come on, and they push you on.
Yeah, and and your clubs were the Strip, this Catch, and
Improv, Strip, Catch, and then
Stand Up New York.
And then I remember doing Comedy Cellar, but that was like so far downtown that it was hard to get to the.
You know what it's like now, the Cellar? It's because when I started, they were lucky to have an audience on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That they would have the staff sit there, and you would have to go up for the staff, so people walking down would see that they thought they were customers, and But now, do you know it's like the hottest? It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 shows a night.
3 shows.
3 shows. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 4 Friday, 4 Saturday. And waiting list only.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And now he's buying.
Good for him.
He's buying another. And they opened the one around the corner where the Village Underground was. That's all comedy now. And then he just bought the McDonald's. The McDonald's went out of business, and he bought it. No one bought it, and he's going to open up there. So what we did, where we had to go uptown, downtown, this town, that town, you could stay on one corner on that Friday and do 7 shows and never leave that 1 block radius. Yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't teach them grit, Ray. They came out a bunch of pussies, okay? That's what you get when you put all the comedy clubs on one corner.
Yes, that's true.
We had to, I do look back and shudder, but I also look back and am, in a way, so grateful that I had to. We were talking about this in my office today, because we have Abigail Schreier on this week, and her book is about this, that kids just are not asked to go through things anymore. Like if you're, if the math test stresses you out, we don't take it. It's okay. And so they don't have the memory of like accomplishing something when they're young, of overcoming something, even shyness, you know. I mean, no one was more shy than I was.
Yeah.
There was no suggestion that this was some sort of defect of humanity, and so, you know, just
Yeah.
you're a marginalized victim of something. You were just shy,
Yeah.
and get over it. It's not the world's problem; it's your problem.
All right. All right.
And again, this is where they go, get off my lawn. It's like, engage with the idea. Is the idea wrong? Argue with me on that level, I will respect you. Hey, I'll be at the David Copperfield Theater at the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino June 21st and 22nd in Las Vegas, the Orpheum in Minneapolis, Minnesota, July 13th, and the Riverside Theater in Milwaukee on July 14th. July 26th, the MGM Music Hall at Fenway Park, Boston, Massachusetts, and July 27th, Toyota Oakdale Theater in Wallingford, Connecticut. I learned so much about Jerry Seinfeld this last month because of all the promotion he did and all the shows he did. And I've known this guy for a very long time and look up to him, not a phrase I use with very many people.
Yeah.
And also I'm just deep friendship with him. But I didn't know a lot of these things. I saw him say to Howard Stern, like, the secret to life is getting comfortable or something like that with your torture. Because he was saying to Howard, all day long, all I'm doing all the time is looking for bits. And Howard said, that sounds like torture. And Jerry said, it is. The secret of life is to just to find the torture that you're comfortable with, something like that.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that, and then marriage, kids, it's all that. And that is not my life philosophy.
Do you look for bits all the time? Because I don't.
No. I
don't either.
Even when I was young and didn't have 3 kids, and was just crazy mad about like finding bits everywhere because it's like this new thing and you're actually getting paid for it, even if it's $35. I remember literally in bed, like in the middle of coitus, writing something down on the nightstand without taking my dick out of the punani. I mean, that is a love of comedy, ladies and gentlemen.
But I'm the same way. The bits would, especially with kids, because I started talking about that, and it would happen, and I would say, hold on, and I would write it down and then go to it later.
But that's the thing. I was never a purpose-filled creator. That's Jerry and Bill Cosby, same thing. You have to write every day, get in front of the yellow legal pad, whatever comes out. I could never do that. I was more I'll get stoned, funny things will fall out of my mouth. Just be vigilant about writing them down. Now, over the course of my lifetime, this is one of my big bugaboos, that lots of gold I let fall to the ground because I didn't write it down at the time, because I said, I'll remember, and I'm like, oh, fuck, what was that bit? It was gonna work perfectly. Like, but I would say over the course of my lifetime, I probably, guesstimating, got 67.2% of what I thought of. I did record.
When you were high?
All my life.
It would just come.
Restaurants. I mean, I have.
Yeah, same for me. Same for me. I wasn't one who said time to write. I didn't set my clock and say time to write. But when I had premises and bits, oh shit, that's something funny. Oh, that's I would put it in the book. Then at some point I had to stretch it out and make it into something, right? So, and it's work. It's like homework a little bit. But then when you get on stage and when you get a laugh from something new, that's the thing. You're
playing the cello. It takes a lot of practice, but it's worth it when you're up there with the orchestra and you're getting the big laughs.
But do you miss, because the one thing I miss is, as hard as it was, you know, back then, but when you were good, when you got better and you were a stand-up, is going on in front of a crowd that had never seen you before. Because that's never going to happen again. That's what I miss, is going up in a room full of strangers, and they paid their cover charge, and now here comes this guy, and now it's your job, and there's a little bit of a, you know, you got to prove yourself to them, and winning that audience over.
That's the thing I hated the most. I swear to God. Now that probably.
Wait, but I'm talking about when it worked. When it worked, it was great.
I'm sure it was, but
But you like it.
And it doesn't speak highly for my character in this sense because it does come off as a little haughty. I would rather have been like you. That's the preferable way to be. That, no, I'm going to win you over. But I was like more haughty about it. I
Well,
think
you're talking about if they gave you attitude during your set, right? Then you would be like kind of like Larry David was like that, where Larry would turn on the audience, right?
First of all, like, I wasn't. Yes,
I'm not
when you're
talking about
starting, you're
that.
not great. That's part of the equation. But another part is that, see, when I play now, and for God knows how long, I'm attracting the people who know what they're getting.
Yeah.
So it's my
what I mean.
audience. So the stuff works because they're my people.
Yes.
When you're in the clubs, it's not that. It's potluck audience.
Right.
And a lot of times I did have great jokes that went over their head.
See, I could see where there's a difference. Mine stuff is more mainstream, right? So I know you're not talking about just specifically political humor, but you do have stuff. But mine's neither. Whoever you are, you could probably identify with something I'm saying.
I was never meant to be like this mass act that was going to play stadiums. I'm more like HBO. HBO isn't Netflix has thousands more movies, and it's great. But HBO is a boutique place that has a great audience, a nice sized audience, but it's not the biggest thing. And that's as best as I can do or want to do with the kind of crowd. I'd much rather have that smaller audience that's more sophisticated.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I'm selling is sophistication. I owe it to my New Jersey upbringing. But there's a lot of entertainment is just not sophisticated. When I was a kid, and I'm sure there are people who go, "You vulgar potty mouth, you think you're sophisticated?" Well, in this arena that we're in, where everything is like very unsophisticated, like I like this lane.
Yeah.
But it is always going to be somewhat smaller.
But do you think it's gotten smaller? Has it gotten smaller?
No, it's gotten bigger. But it has a ceiling.
Right.
Because it's
not your audience, but
my audience.
In general.
No, specifically my audience has a ceiling.
Right.
Much more. Yours has a much bigger arc, I feel.
Right.
I mean, not that.
Yeah.
We're not competing.
No, I know.
I love you as you are.
Oh,
it's just different. It's just different, and that's what's good. Is that it's
yours
like,
is different from mine. Mine's different from Seinfeld.
It's like in The Godfather when Don Corleone says to Barzini, and good luck with your business. I'm not going to invest, but since your interests don't conflict with mine, we don't walk the same. We would be good on the same show because we both
could we co-headline?
Well, yeah, we'd be great because we both appeal to a sophisticated audience, but it's just two sides of the thing.
Right. So do you wanna?
Yeah, I would love it.
I've been, I did the Mirage with Spade. Spade and I did the Mirage. We would co-headline. I was like, I could do it myself, and I have been doing it myself now. But now the Mirage is closing, so I went to the Venetian. I'm at the Venetian. But I was like, it's more fun doing 30 minutes.
You know what? Yeah. That's a great, that's a great compromise I should think about for instead of just not doing it at all. Like
do a little
maybe do something and then how.
And then we did a Q.
So instead of 90 minutes, you do 1 hour. Is that right?
We had an opener, and then David would do 25 minutes. I would do 35 minutes, 30, and then we'd both come out and do a little Q&A thing for 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, so, when you got to do you do an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you got to because it's just you.
In Vegas, though?
Yes.
Don't you have an opener? Don't you have an opener?
No.
Oh, no, I have an opener. Yeah. I can't do it. I don't want to do an hour and a half.
No, I don't. I never want to.
I get tired of myself after 45 minutes.
Well, it goes fast, but I mean, that's one reason I'm thinking about, hanging it up for this. It's.
Well, you want to do your editorials, right?
That I want to do forever.
Yeah.
That I want, because they're different every week. Yeah. I mean, an act is something you build And
And you,
I always love that. I'm a builder by nature, but it is like building a ship inside of a bottle. It's just a more elegant way to do it, or maybe less elegant. I don't know. Some people like a ship in a bottle. I like an act.
the one thing
But
you,
you're constantly tinkering and making it
yes,
better.
and
Yes,
is that good or bad? That's the,
I love it. I
yeah.
love tinkering.
But you can't. But with your
But you can't-
editorials, you can only tinker up to the point where
Yeah.
you say it the first time, and then you
Yeah,
don't
but
get
I have
to go
all week.
right. But with your act, you get feedback from the audience,
Of course.
and then
Well,
you
trust me.
tinker a little more, and then
Oh, I know.
yeah,
Of course. It's all that. It's that they're the director.
right.
I'm the actor, and they're the director, and it's great.
No,
I'll miss that.
I know what I understand the kick you're getting out of doing your thing, because that's why I wrote the movie.
Yeah. You always got like a million fucking things going.
No.
No, really. Yeah, as far as like actual projects, I read more about your shit.
Yeah, but you read about
shows
they
and-
announce stuff and
Yeah.
sometimes
What's the next one you have? I bet you have
supposed
one.
to do a
What's coming-
biopic on Jim Valvano. You know Jim Valvano?
No, who's that?
You should know him. He was college basketball.
I don't follow college
But this was
sports, really.
take it easy.
I have a this is a sore point because people like are on your case now if you don't follow women's basketball.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah.
answer is I don't follow women's basketball for the same reason I don't follow college basketball. I only want to watch athletes at their very best. That's not a knock on any of them. I don't watch golf. I don't watch hockey. I don't watch soccer. Sports is a waste of time. I enjoy it. You need a waste of time, but I'd like to limit that.
But
So I'm only going to watch baseball, football, and basketball, and mostly only in the playoffs.
But the
Except
other
for football,
sports-
that's every week.
They're at their very best in the other sports. You just aren't into those sports.
But then that's the same sport. It's the same
Oh,
sport.
you mean the best in that sport?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I see.
Yeah. I mean, even
Oh.
and I'll watch big tennis matches too. Of course, they're great. The women athletes are great, but women and men are different.
Yeah.
Okay. And even Serena Williams said she kind of backed up McEnroe when he said,
Oh yeah, that's ridiculous. That's the number 300 player could beat her. Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And she said, yeah. I mean, it's just when you play against a man, that just comes in faster.
Right. Right.
Because of nature, because of biology, which I'm sure the kids are very angry about me even mentioning. How dare you bring up biology in a discussion about biology? But yeah, biology matters, kids.
Yeah.
Again, engage with the idea. Engage with the idea. Don't just say, get off my lawn.
Well, where is everybody on that on males who become females participating in female sports? Where is that now? Are they allowing it?
It's a great question. I don't think it's settled. People have different ideas. One is a third division.
Yeah, the
Right.
division where they compete with each other, right?
The LGBTQ division, like males, females, and everybody else, whatever stripe. I never understand why the LGBTQ community wants to be lumped in like that. Why it's so.
Yeah.
Remember Gilligan's Island theme and
And the rest. And the rest.
it was only two people
Yeah.
for crying out loud.
That was somebody's
couldn't
bit,
just
right?
say, and then they
Yeah.
did.
The amount it takes to say "and the rest," you could fit in Marianne and whatever.
The professor
Yeah.
and Marianne. It
Oh,
wasn't-
then they did. They
then they
amended
did
it.
because
Yeah.
their agent got on the phone
Yeah.
and said,
Yeah.
"Come on."
Yeah. What was their credit? Well, you may have seen her as the rest. Yeah. She played one of the rest on Gilligan's Island.
Anyway, that's my analogy to the LGBT. There's so many different.
But we were talking about sport.
What were you going to say there before I?
Well, Jim Valvano was a
Jim Valvano.
he was
yes.
he's the coach who's the Jimmy V. The Jimmy V with the ESPY awards.
You have to educate me on college. I know nothing.
Jimmy V. He coached NC State in the '80s when they beat.
That's Duke.
No,
NC
North
State?
Carolina. North Carolina State.
That's Duke.
No, it's North Carolina State.
Oh, it's
Duke is Duke. North Carolina
Okay.
State. Yeah, Duke is they're They're both in North Carolina. Yeah.
I thought one was that.
No, Duke is.
I thought North Carolina State was at Duke or something.
Duke University, that's Coach K. And North Carolina State was Jim Valvano. He was an Italian guy from Queens. He was this fish out of water that became this coach who.
You play him?
One of the biggest upsets was when they beat UCIT in the NCAA championship.
I don't even know this, but I think you're perfect for it. No, really. Just listening to this, it does sound like you are.
You know who, if you see him, you know because he gave a famous ESPY speech. The first year of the ESPYs, he gave the speech about don't give up, don't ever give up, when he was dying. He died 2 months after that. He died like 10 years after he won the championship. Anyway, whatever.
Can I tell you a college sports story about Mr. T?
Yes.
So it's 1983. I'm on the set of DC Cab.
Yes.
Mr. T.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of time in between shots, as you well know,
Yeah.
all your acting work. And I'm doing the New York Times crossword puzzle because that's what 27-year-old actor Billy Maher did.
What day? What day of the week was it?
Good question. One I could handle.
Because I do the Monday and Tuesdays.
Yeah. Okay, so I say, and it's the theme was college sports teams. And I'm struggling. And I say, hey, Mr. T, do you know what the name of the Penn State team is? Nittany Lions. I'm like, oh my God, it does fit, Nittany Lions. I said, hey, why did they call them Nittany Lions? He goes, I sure know what some stupid white man did. I remember it to this day.
How should I know what
some stupid white man did? Like, it was either, you know, that was his character. It was surly. So.
Were you a Rocky guy? Rocky was big in my childhood.
Of course. Well, the movie, you mean?
Yeah, the movie.
Well, I was 20 when Rocky came out.
I was 18, yeah.
So,
17.
I mean, it was a big movie, but I had much bigger problems when I was 20. I mean, that's right in that age where you're an adult, but I always call it the infancy of adulthood, because just like an infant, when you're an infant adult, which is 18, 19, 20, you're powerless in the same way you were when you were an infant. Like, everyone is more powerful than you about everything. You know, you don't really get to control your own life, whether it's what you can afford and like what you have to do to survive. And
were you home still?
No, I was in college. You know, again, like living in places I didn't want to live, with people I didn't want to live with. You're not controlling your life, just like an infant. I don't think I liked childhood because I wasn't in control. You know, I'm smaller. People who could boss me around, tell me what to do. It all just grated against me.
Yeah, but there's also something special about being a child and not having all the shit that you have now as an adult, the knowledge of it. Everything is magic, kind of, isn't it? As a child, there is a magic still. There's an innocence.
For me, the magic came later. You know, there is magic in life. There absolutely is.
That explains the stripper pole.
You're sitting by a stripper pole. I mean, some people are just, you know,
you're not
molded into different personality types. And I know from talking to parents, they always tell me, like, you can tell at the age of 2 what they're going to be like. Like, oh, that's a wild one, you know? I wouldn't know this, but is that what you found?
I don't know if that's true. My 26, my youngest, was a lot of, him and my wife just, boom. And
punched each other?
No. Just
what?
Just butted heads so much. It was.
That's odd for a boy to butt heads with the mom. Usually the boy butts heads with the dad.
Well, yeah. I mean, he did. He was not easy. He was not an easy kid, you know. And he was
He's the youngest.
He's the youngest. And,
is there a syndrome?
And he got out of it. He grew out of it. I mean, he was a kid. I laugh sometimes. He would. I remember seeing when he was 8 and he was trying to go outside. And I was like, Joe, you can't go out without your shoes on. And he just looked at me and went, my shoes are on. And he was in bare feet, standing there in bare feet.
That's like something Trump would do. Really? My shoes are on?
Yes, I've made that now relationship, yeah. But he's he's mellowed out, and
Yeah, I've heard that story. I hear a lot about kids in their
Yeah.
20s and teens because my friends are always talking about their kids, or if I am close with them, I ask them about them.
Yeah.
And I've heard this story also. The kid who is just not getting his shit together, and it's almost always a boy, not a girl.
Yeah.
It's the boys who are in crisis more than the girls at that age.
Well, that's
Well,
how
girls are too with suicide. And
that's my experience. And my daughter is the oldest, and she was the A student, hard worker, go work, get a job, do this, and the boys were more like me. I was not that. I flunked. I went to 3 high schools. I flunked out of 2 high schools.
Flunked out?
Yeah, but from just being irresponsible, from just cutting school, not going, not caring, just wanting to have.
I was the exact opposite.
You were
Exact opposite. I was number 7 in my class, which
Yeah.
is as high as I mean, that's about right. I'm not
I think
the smartest.
that
but,
tracks, though. That tracks.
Yeah. No, I was definitely afraid of not doing well in school.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were. It's not like my parents were going to beat me. I mean, that's not who.
I finally I graduated high school. I went to college. I went to Queens College, but I would register. I would get. Here's what I would do. This you want to talk about stupidity? I would get a student loan. I would register. There'd be money left over on that student loan, and I would have money all of a sudden. And my parents thought I was going to college, and I would leave the house and never go. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and so after like 2 years, probably, I had 20 credits, And then as I got a little older, I got a little more serious, and I went back. I studied accounting, and I got about 100 credits, and I never graduated. But I actually graduated. I got a 2-year degree, but I never got the 4-year degree. Yeah.
But when did you? Where in your childhood did you have the idea that you wanted to be a comedian, or was it not in childhood at all?
In my teenage years, it
Teenage
was.
years.
Yeah. I was always a fan of comedy, stand up to,
I knew before I was 10.
Yeah.
Like I always wanted to do that.
I was probably the class clown, I guess.
Class comedian, different than the
yes.
clown.
Yes.
The clown threw spitballs.
Yeah.
The comedian said things that even the teacher sometimes laughed at. Did you ever make the teacher laugh?
I don't remember that.
That's when I knew I was fucking sophisticated.
I had nuns. Nuns didn't laugh. Yeah. But I used to work in the theater. I used to in a movie theater. I was an usher, and I remember it was a Neil Simon movie.
Oh.
And I remember I would know exactly every moment in that movie, and I'd be out in the lobby, sweeping up the popcorn, whatever. And I knew when a funny part was coming up, and I wanted to go in there and listen to the audience. I wanted to have the audience experience, and I wanted, to feel that. I didn't know that I wanted to do stand-up yet, but I knew that's what I was drawn to that, And then stand-up was just, I had heard about an audition night at the Improv. Someone told me about once a month they do audition night. And I got 5 minutes up, and that was the first time ever. And then
when I do think about those years, what mostly stands out is being able to just survive on fumes. Like, what was I actually surviving on? It wasn't money. It wasn't any women. It wasn't the promise of a better tomorrow, because that certainly was in doubt. Like whether you were going to make it as a comic, it seemed very far away. It was the one thing it kind of had was the respect of some of those people who were a little ahead of you. The ones who said, yes, you passed the audition. You're a funny guy. That is really what I was surviving on in those years.
But also the audience, right? You like being that feeling.
No, because that wasn't that either. The first year.
Yes, you would bomb.
Well, first year I don't think I even get on stage. First of all, you have to hang out at the club.
Yeah, same.
For a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you get on last.
Right. No, listen. That's what I tell them. We talked about this earlier, but I never got to it. The first few years is the hardest thing I think in any business.
I always say it.
Because
first 2 years.
Yes, you go on, like you say, you hang out, You go on last. So now you're the comic who's up in front of 3 drunks and 2
Right.
people.
Yes.
And you're the guy who can't handle that.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't have the experience
Kind
for
of like
that.
what they do in medical school when they make you go to a residency and work 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
Because that's who you want looking at you is some bleary-eyed. I know what it's like to be overtired. To think that they do that in hospitals.
Yeah.
But yes, you go on last. David Say,
Yeah.
God bless him, loved him, still love him if he's around, once brought me on with the words, "Here's the last guy, I forget his name," and then walked off the other side of the stage into the bathroom at Catch a Rising Star.
That's funny.
I love those memories. I really do.
I
Because they're
remember-
memories. I don't want to relive them. Like people say, would you like to go back? Not if I have to relive that. No.
Yeah. Well, no, but I don't. I look fondly back at when I was a comic and I was a working comic in the city and my kids were little. So that was hard too. But I kind of, I'm nostalgic about that, you know?
Of course.
Yeah.
What did your kids think when they were little and Daddy was a celebrity? Did they? I'm always fascinated about that moment. Paul McCartney tells that story about his kid when he was little, and he said he was riding by on a pony, and the little kid goes, "Hey, you're Paul McCartney."
Huh.
You know, the moment it dawns on the kid that the parent is
Yeah.
also this personage.
I mean, well, I remember when I was a working comic, and my daughter was the only. When my daughter was born, we didn't have any. She was like 3, and I had a gig in Delaware. I had to drive to a gig in Delaware, and my wife decided to come with me with my daughter. So she's in the back of the room with my daughter, and she's 3. She doesn't know what I do. Right? And she's coloring in the room. I'm on stage now, in the room. You know, my wife's with her. And I'm on stage, and after about 5 minutes, I'm getting laughs. This is my wife told me. And my daughter just looked up and went, "Daddy's funny."
That's funny.
So she didn't know what I was doing,
Oh.
but she realized I was making people laugh, I guess.
Terrible
You know?
if she said, "Daddy's bombing."
Daddy's doing that same shit he
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Daddy's a hack. Jesus Christ.
Daddy needs to change the tag on that one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Gilligan's Island routine, Dad.
Yeah.
Boy, right.
But you know, my kids came to the show when I got the show. So my twins were like 3, 4 when the show started, and the show was on for 9 years. So we moved to LA. You know, we were in New York when I got the show, and the first year I went back and forth. We didn't move out because I didn't know if it was going to get canceled or not. You know, so my wife and kids stayed in New York. Second year we moved out. All right, so now I'm on a show. My kids are 3. When the show goes off the air, they're 12. So that's basically Daddy. That's how they know Daddy's universe, you know. And now it ends,
Right.
and they took it harder than I did. My twins are 12 years old now. It was not an easy.
Because they couldn't get a good table anymore.
They knew we were going to fly private, but you know, the transition was hard, man. I mean, it was. I don't want to get into details, but it was rough for them. Yeah, and I realized, yeah, all of a sudden that world that they saw Daddy in ends. And
Do you remember that? Of course you do. You did it.
What?
I said, do you remember that show? You did. After I loved that show, it was like a dramedy.
Men of a Certain Age.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Scott Bakula, right?
And Andre Brower.
And Andre Brower.
And, yeah,
that really spoke to me. I mean, it was at the
good,
time
thanks.
of my life, that was a very.
Yeah. I mean, that's on the list of things I'm most proud of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's a really.
Yeah.
It was a really.
I mean, it was just 2 seasons, and we won a Peabody Award, which means you're in danger of getting canceled. It means people think there's quality there, but nobody's watching, really. A month after we won the Peabody Award, we got canceled. Yeah.
What is the Peabody Award?
I don't know. The guy Peabody is a guy.
I've certainly heard of it.
He was a guy, some smart guy from some college, university, and they named an award after him.
I have
Yeah.
zero respect for any awards. It used to be a stone in my shoe, and now I love it. Like, I don't want them to give me anything because they're almost like the media. They've like exposed themselves to be just not something people respect for good reason.
Like an Oscar.
Any of them. Emmys is my category.
Yeah.
But also Peabody. I mean, Larry King, every time I was on, he would say, "You are more like Mark Twain than anybody that we've had in a long time." And I would take it as a great compliment. Now, I don't know if that's gospel or if it's true, but it always amused me that the Mark Twain Award did give out the award to like 20 people who might have been, I'm sure there are many of them, or all of them probably, are fine comics, but are not like Mark Twain. There's one guy who's actually like Mark Twain, much more than the people. Again, great actors, comics as they are. That kind of stuff is very funny to me.
You never did the Washington press correspondence theater, right?
I did.
You did?
Yes, I did it in '95.
I did it too.
Yeah, what year? Clinton?
Yes.
Yeah, Clinton.
And I did it and that's the reason they had me, because that was during, what's her name? What's her name?
Oh,
the woman who had the affair with Clinton.
Monica Lewinsky?
Monica Lewinsky, yeah. It was during Monica Lewinsky. And so they hired the innocuous,
yeah. Well, they didn't make that cagey calculation with me. And I remember I said one bad word. I did say the word fuck in front of the President of the United States. And the next year, People magazine wrote about whoever was hosting, and they wrote, last year, Bill Maher delivered an obscenity-laced monologue. I loved it. In 1 year, one fuck became an obscenity-laced monologue.
Oh, that's for them. One fuck is all it takes. How did it go over with?
It's a shit room because, first of all, like, nobody wants to be seen laughing at what they're not supposed to be laughing at.
Right.
So you do need a juggler or somebody like who is not political at all. The mistake they make is going, oh, this is a political event. We'll get the political comedian. It's the last person you should get.
I look back at mine and think, although I shouldn't have done it because.
No, I wish I hadn't.
Well, but you for that reason, me for the reason of it. You should speak to what's going on. You should make jokes about. I wasn't even aware.
No, the one person, and he and I are not really friendly. I don't know why. I don't hate him at all, and I hope he doesn't hate me. Stephen Colbert. Some people just don't vibe. But I got to give it, the one he did in front of Bush when he was in character was genius and was the best one anybody ever did and was ballsy.
Yeah.
It was everything that, to me, marks excellence. It was truly funny. It was original, and it was courageous.
And it spoke to what was going on at the time, right? Colin, did you see this year's Colin Jost? I thought he did a good job.
No.
Yeah. You know he is,
Of course, Saturday Night Live. Yeah, I'm sure he did. He's a brilliant joke writer.
Yeah. But I remember I just did my act, and I said, I don't do political. I just do my act, and they said, "Yeah,
that's good."
They said, "We'll pay you double."
That's No, that's what they need to do.
But then Arianna Huffington's looking at you like, "Why is he up there?"
Exactly. But you never did anything, to your great credit, that like embarrassed your kids, your family. I mean, so many stars have to walk some sort of walk of shame because
I've done movies. I've done stuff that hasn't.
That's not. You've had bombs. Everybody has bombs. That's not the same thing. I'm talking about, getting out of your car and you could see your balls.
Oh.
Or just anything that brings, like, where people. I always say it this way: if you can get through show business life without ever doing anything where it made people go, oh.
Yeah, but you've never done it. Only things you've said. Things you've said, right?
Let's not go there with me.
But things you've said. But you're the guy. But you're. That's your job. Your job is to.
Part of it is yes, and I've also done stupid things, But yes, it's much more likely if you're mixing dangerous chemicals
Yes.
that there's going to be a
Right.
something blow up, or to use another analogy, you are going to make more errors at third base than second base.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
just more sharply hit grounders your way.
Right. But you're the guy.
Yeah, but
You're the guy in the arena,
I
as
want to
Teddy
play
Roosevelt would
the
say.
hot corner.
Yeah.
They don't call it the hot corner for nothing. So you don't even drink, or you do drink?
I don't drink.
No,
I have vices. I have my vices.
What?
I gamble too much.
Really? You gamble like
Well,
heavy money?
No, not heavy money, but I was in Vegas yesterday. We went for a poker tournament.
Oh.
I drove home this morning. I got home at 1:30.
A poker tournament?
Yeah, there's.
You mean you're that serious about poker?
But it's nothing. It's the stakes are low.
Well, how's low? How much
Relatively.
is low, or do you not want to say? Because
This was
people
it's a World Series of Poker. They have tournaments every day for 3 months. This was $1,000 buy-in. You put $1,000 in, and
So how much can you lose at a time?
that's it, $1,000. That's how much the entry is.
For each hand, or?
No.
Oh.
It's $1,000 entry. There's 3,000 people who are in the tournament. They play, and when you get knocked out, you're eliminated. They play until there's one winner, but they like the top 400 cash in.
I never understood gambling, why it was so amusing to people. It just made me nervous, like I'm losing money slowly. I realize that even if I'm up, I won't be in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm just going to slowly lose this money, which is okay if you know you're going to lose it to begin with, but to like really go there thinking and then be so disappointed because, of course, you're not supposed to win in a casino.
Well, you know what they say psychologically, the gambler really wants to lose.
Is that
Which
right?
I don't get it. I don't get that, but they say subconsciously.
Really?
Yeah.
They want to punish themselves.
Well, I think it was
They like to.
one of those Jimmy the Greek. Maybe somebody said the most favorite thing for him to do in his life is to gamble and win, and his second most favorite thing is to gamble and lose. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's just the thrill. Yeah. But
I mean, I've never got a thrill out of it. I also think it's amazing what they get away with. I don't know if you saw recently, but the Supreme Court heard this ruling about affirmative action at colleges. It was brought mostly by Asians who said they were being discriminated at Harvard and a number of other schools because, if you just did it by blind admittance, like 50% of Harvard would be Asian. They just do well on. When I'm saying anything about anybody, the Asians, they can fucking do a test. So they were kind of penalized for like winning at the game. And I feel like the same thing goes on at a casino. Like a card counter, that's not cheating.
No, I know. That's what I say,
Cheating is
too.
if I have a piece in my ear and there's a guy across the way, you can see the card. That's cheating. Card counting is just being good at it.
I agree with you.
Just being good.
He's not breaking any rules.
No,
Yeah.
he's just good at it, and you throw him out for being good.
Yeah, no, it's.
I'm running as a one-issue candidate on this and only this. This is my one issue. I can't take it anymore. This country.
I agree. That, what is he doing? He's just being smart. That's all. He's just.
All right. Do you have anything to plug? I gotta pee.
I have a movie that I'm in coming out July 11th that I'm.
Well, this is the worst plug I've ever seen in my. Yeah, it's not. You're like an old Jewish man on the porch.
I'm not the lead.
Oh no, I don't want to bother anybody with my movie. It'll be a nuisance to you.
If you're there.
I'm fine here on the porch. I don't need to come in.
If it's raining and you got nowhere to go. Anyway, the movie's called Fly Me to the Moon.
Oh, okay. Fly Me to the Moon.
It's with Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson. July 11th comes out. Yeah, and it's about
Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum.
Yeah,
that's a major.
I got a nice role. It's not super big, but it's.
So I'm guessing you're the love interest for Scarlett Johansson, and Channing Tatum is just like the the butt
Yes.
boy that you're both.
It's about Apollo 11. It's about the moon landing. It's like a historical
Oh,
fiction.
so it
kind
takes
of,
place in '69.
yeah. We went to NASA.
Oh.
We went to Cape Kennedy. It was cool. Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah, that's it. July 11th, and then this.
Well, "Fly Me to the Moon" is also one of the great songs of all time.
Yeah.
Not just done by Sinatra, but there was a very funny movie that was done in 1997, I'm guessing, called "Down with Love." If you never saw it, I recommend it highly. It's with Renee Zellweger and
From '97. Yeah.
yes, it's a parody of the Rock Hudson, Doris Day movies.
Yeah.
So if you don't know the Rock Hudson, Doris Day movies, it's not as funny. But
Right.
it's genius. The writing,
What's the name of it?
and they have it's called "Down with Love."
All right.
But refresh yourself with the Doris Day, Rock Hudson movies first, and then they play "Fly Me to the Moon." It's done by Astrid Gilberto, who was married, I think, to the guy who wrote Antonio Carlos Jobim, who wrote all those great brought samba to America.
Yeah.
The girl from Ipanema, tall and tan and
Yeah.
young and
Yeah.
lovely, and she does a rendition of "Fly Me to the Moon."
So now I
Yes.
have, but you're saying I kind of have to watch a Rock Hudson.
No, but you don't remember those Rock Hudson?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, yeah.
They were really funny. I mean,
Yeah.
they were of their time. I
Yeah.
mean, and the big one they did. The plot is they're on a party phone, where kids have no idea what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
It's even before our time.
Yeah.
But you'd get on the phone and you have to share the line with other people.
Yeah.
Would you please get off this line?
Yeah.
I have to make a
Yeah.
call. I mean, it's
Yeah, I
So-
saw. I watched Marty a while back. It came on somewhere.
Marty, yeah.
They're talking about things that are dated, and the mother was talking to her sister, and she had an Italian accent, and she goes, "I want Marty to get married. Come on, I wanted to see him get married. Look at me. How long am I going to be here? I'm 57 years old." I said, "What?"
Right.
I said, "Oh
Yeah.
no." Yeah,
Well,
I know. 57
we still
back
have the
then.
future for us,
Yeah.
right?
All right, we're up.
All right.
Club Random.
You didn't have to take a break.
No, I was having too much fun. I couldn't tear myself away from
you
you.
pre-gamed it, right?
Yes.
Club Random.